I found it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeremy,
I'm Joe.
and welcome to Boys of Summer. Tonight, we just got out of Jurassic World, and we are going to be giving our general thoughts first about the movie. So, Joe, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. I felt like it had the impossible task of living up to the immense hype that it's had for months, and like many other movies, like Man of Steel, Dark Knight Rises, I feel like it couldn't really ever hope to live up to that. But I mean, as far as movies go, I mean, it was really enjoyable. It was like the right level of enjoyable. It was good.
Just enough enjoyable?
Yeah.
No, I thought the movie was entertaining. I didn't think it was all that great as a whole movie. I didn't walk out amazed or, just had to tell everybody about it. But as a movie, I walked out entertained, and I think that's what a summer blockbuster should be. So overall, I think the Jurassic World did what it's supposed to. They had some really cool shots. The dinosaurs looked good. The comedy was on point. The action for what the dinosaurs was. So overall, I think it was a very solid movie.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like there were moments. I felt like more so there were characters that didn't really serve a purpose. Like, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like D'Onofrio, as good as he is and as good as he was in the movie, I felt like he didn't add enough to it to justify his character being there. I felt like, especially because then you set up B.D. Wong as kind of an antagonist. I felt like, and then they try to like cram where they were both together at the end. I felt like one or the other.
Yeah, I feel like it was setting up. Like, I know they're planning to do more Jurassic Park movies, so I feel like he got away, and whatever was in that suitcase or whatever, he's going to be for future movies. Something's going to happen. It's kind of interesting because they left where the park is really in shambles and probably won't reopen because it takes place right after. I mean, it takes place they skipped the second two sequels, so it's just Jurassic Park. This is the second time something bad's happened. I highly doubt that it's going to be believable that people would allow this park to reopen for a third time after something like this. So it's interesting where they would take it, but Juan's character definitely is meant to be maybe like the big bad of the Jurassic Park world.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like overall, like, D'Onofrio was there to just kind of be D'Onofrio, like just be. It felt like another like Giamatti in San Andreas type situation.
I don't think it's bad though. Giamatti was pretty bad.
It wasn't poor, like it wasn't done badly. It just wasn't done to the extent I felt like it was done. It felt like there was just something left on the editing room floor. I felt like what should have been left more on the editing room floor was all the stuff with the kids, because that was the least interesting part to me.
The kids?
The two boys.
I have to agree.
Like the part where like they talk about their parents divorcing, like why do we care? Their parents
They kind of set it up a little bit in the beginning. You could tell the tension between the two parents, but I don't think it served a purpose in the movie.
It had no.
So what's the purpose of having them to? I don't think you could just completely left that out. It wasn't really necessary.
Like you don't have to make us care about these kids because their parents are separating. We care about them because they're gonna die. Like you don't need like any more like emotional like bang for your buck. It's like they're in a dangerous situation. It was just really just a rehashing of what happens in Jurassic Park with the two kids.
It kind of was. I mean, I really think you could just let the kids out and just focus on Chris Pratt and the girl.
I wish you did, because I feel like Chris Pratt wasn't in it enough.
Yeah, he was honestly the best part of the movie. The girl,
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, she did a great job also. But I feel like maybe the kids will have something future for the future movies. Maybe they have an idea for them and they just placed them in this movie because they're supposed to be important in the future movies.
Well, and I feel like I would have liked to seen like maybe a cameo from Sam Neill, maybe a cameo from Jeff Goldblum.
I think they asked him, but nobody was interested in coming back.
Well, that's a shame, because it would have really like tied it in. Like they had like where they the kids, you know, it was kind of an Easter egg where they enter the main hall from the original park.
Yeah.
Because you even see the banner that the T-Rex tears down in the first movie, like they step on it. And I feel like it just would have had like more moments to just kind of like really tie it in. The movie also felt like it was like, well, let's take like some of the elements that we like the most from The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, and let's just throw them in here because we're ignoring that they exist.
Yeah.
So we might as well use what worked in it. But yeah, overall, good movie. Just a little. It was 2 hours 10 minutes, and it felt like it could have been an hour 45.
Yeah.
But you know, it was good. I felt
for what it was a solid movie. It was entertaining. A good summer movie.
Yeah. So I felt like this was a pretty successful attempt at a reboot of a franchise.
I do too.
Not necessarily one that was needed, but I mean, it's kind of revitalized interest in the property.
Yeah.
I feel like other reboots maybe aren't nearly as successful as this. Like, we have Terminator Genesis coming very shortly.
That's like a reboot of a franchise.
Yeah, and I feel like that breaks cardinal rules that this movie did not. The biggest thing being, don't fuck with the mythos of the original movies. And Terminator Genesis, it's like it is purposely toying around with the mythos and like things that happen, like core tenets of the original film.
Yeah, it's trying to reboot it, but still keep...
Yeah.
It's trying to be a hard reboot. Completely start from scratch, but also keep what happened in the first two movies solid. This one just skips 2 sequels. It's kind of like a sequel to the first one, but they're still revising it for 20 years later.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even though it like almost like beat for beat is just Jurassic Park as far as like
a remake almost.
The plot points, I mean, it stays true to it. It's like it recognizes what happened in the movie. It does some things different, but it's still like the same result. It's like still you put something in and it's predictable in how it comes out. And I feel like that's where a lot of reboots mess up. Is like they try to like be like, let's throw this twist in here, like this thing that you wouldn't expect to try to make it fresh. And I feel like people aren't going into Jurassic World like expecting like you to blow their minds with like, some crazy twist. They just want to see more of what was successful. I feel that's where a lot of reboots fail. They try to be successful in spite of the original property, and that's just...
Well, I like Jurassic World because it's rebooting it, but it's also a sequel, so it's not like restarting from scratch. Right. It's just kind of playing... It's giving a new Jurassic World for the 21st century.
Yeah.
So I like that. But the new audience are getting a taste of it instead of the old ones. Now they're going to make more movies of this one with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see where they take the Jurassic Park franchise now off into something else.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is actually the first reboot that we've covered, isn't it?
We've done sequels and everything else.
There's been sequels.
The next reboot,
prequels.
Yeah, the next reboot would be like you said, Terminator Genesis will be just like this one, a reboot / sequel.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think like it was successful. It's a rare success, honestly. Now it's like they don't really generally do well.
No, I think it did what it was supposed to be, an entertaining movie. Wasn't supposed to be nothing spectacular, original, out of the world. Just a good, entertaining movie, and as a reboot and / sequel, it did its job.
Yeah, would have just maybe a few more Easter eggs, just a few more things.
Yeah, more alludes to it, and maybe change it up a little bit instead of beat for beat. But like I said, it's Jurassic Park, the new Jurassic Park for the new generation.
Yeah.
So, as a summer movie blockbuster, we've covered this is our 4th one, because we've had Avengers, Tomorrowland, and San Andreas. Mm-hmm. So how do you think this fits as one of the big summer movies?
I mean, I feel like it was the first one, besides Avengers, that, and Avengers is kind of weird, because it was so early in the summer.
Yeah.
But,
it seems like Marvel really likes to get the first out of the gate movies.
But it was like the first one... Besides that really felt like it had the hype going into it. It had the proper amount of action, the proper amount of fun, to really kind of like fit the schema of a summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
I thought it was it's probably going to do a huge amount of money. And
of course.
The other thing you kind of expect out of summer blockbuster is for it to kind of like live beyond just its theatrical release. And I mean, Jurassic World is tailor-made for that, like video games, toys, everything. It's good. It kind of has to span outside of itself, outside of being a film. And this definitely had that. It's definitely had like an aura to it. Like I said, I don't think the amount of hype that it came in with, it lived up to, but it definitely lived up to being a big movie.
It's funny you said that because I agree with you. I think a summer movie is supposed to take like your imagination or whatever and let you think about it after the movie, and like you said, expanded toys, marketing, Cubs. I mean, it's supposed to go beyond the movie. And Avengers was the only one that did it, and then now this one is it feels like it too. I mean, Burger King's doing the Cubs. Yeah. You're gonna get the toys. You're gonna get sequels. All the good stuff. So I agree, because Tomorrowland was a big movie, but it didn't. Like we said before, it was just an okay movie. And San Andreas had every element to be the big summer movie. It just wasn't written well enough, I believe. No. Because they had the action star in The Rock. It was set up. It just poorly executed, not well written. Yeah. And then Avengers and this have entertaining. Avengers was kind of a letdown from the first one. We wanted a little better. But then again, overall, for what they were trying to do, they did a great job. Yeah. This one, you walked in, you were entertained, you left. It was a good, even though it was 2 hours and 10 minutes, I think you were entertained for 2 hours and 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel like the comparison to San Andreas is especially apt because, I mean, at their core, they're both like action adventure and kind of disaster movies. Yeah. So I don't really know what it is that made San Andreas just kind of sit here and Jurassic World kind of go above. I mean, maybe it is just, it comes down to the writing, I guess. Yeah. And less errors, like Jurassic World. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't flawless by any means, but I feel like they were like so minute and forgivable, whereas there were just some egregious flaws.
The CG wasn't as terrible. Well, like we didn't run into no parts where you're like, wow, that's bad. Yeah. I mean, in San Andreas we had that, but this one, the CG was all on point. At least they could say that. At least they didn't run out of money or whatever.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, just like technically and just like kind of aesthetically and just everywhere it was at least good, whereas San Andreas definitely had some where it was just bad. Sure. And I think that's what sets it apart, and what will probably set it apart for a little bit, because I'm afraid that some of these other ones that we're about to come into, I mean Ant-Man, I don't know, I don't really know how to feel about it. I'm hopeful, but I just don't know how to feel. I wish we got to see the preview.
Yeah, but we went to IMAX tonight. We tried to at least. Intended to. And it got sold out, so we had to go to the regular 2D.
Yeah. But I feel like Terminator and just some of these other ones, it's just sort of like, I don't know. Like I don't know if they're going to be if they're not going to have some egregious flaw to it. I'm a massive Terminator fan, so I'm just really pensive about that one.
I think Ant-Man is going to be great. Yeah. I'm personally a big fan of Ant-Man. Then at the end of the month, we have Mission Impossible, which I think is going to be tremendous.
That'll be on point.
But Terminator, I'm with you. I don't know if Terminator is going to be great or not.
Fantastic Four, I don't feel like we've seen enough. I don't know. There's just so many just kind of question marks. This one, I kind of was like wondering. This one I was just wondering, like, can it really live up to like what they're trying to make it out to? It didn't necessarily, but it was fine, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was great. I just feel like, there's just really big shoes to fill. I mean, every movie does have to kind of compare to the Avengers. Maybe that's why Marvel's smart in doing that. It's because every movie that comes afterward has to compare to it.
Oh, I agree, and I honestly believe Ant-Man and Mission Impossible are going to be really well done. From what I've seen from Ant-Man and heard and read, it's going to be great. And then Mission Impossible, the trailers just look
and the other
incredible.
Big blockbuster we're forgetting, Magic Mike XXL. But
not talking about that.
Now, I guess we should go into scores. You go first.
Oh, I think I'm going to give this one full price.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason why it's not a full price as where Avengers was because I enjoyed the quality of the movie. I think it was full price for the entertainment value. This is a summer blockbuster. I think this is worth going to see opening weekend, getting people out, paying the full price, going for big... Like, we were in a sold-out theater, and I think that plays up to it. I think going to see this movie in a sold-out theater, I think that's what you should do with this kind of movie. Make sure you go see it in the evening where a lot of people are going to be there. I think it's worth it. It's a good ride. It's entertaining.
There's randomly 10 people there that I knew, just out of nowhere.
He was popular keen tonight.
Good times.
Everybody knew him.
Yeah, I think full price. I mean, we only bought, like, you know, standard 2D, like, you know, and I felt like I was happy about that. At the end of the day, I was slightly bummed, but at the end of the day, I think easily pay regular full price. I felt like I would have hurt a little bit if I walked away from the movie knowing I spent almost $20 on it.
Yeah, but I think the 3D would add something.
It probably would have. I definitely saw scenes where it was very obviously meant to be seen.
Yeah, I think the 3D would add another element to it, and the IMAX would. That's why I gave it full price. I think it's worth the IMAX 3D price because the movie's built for it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I mean, I was definitely happy. I was happy, just full price, just no caveats, just pay the $10.25 or whatever it is where you're at.
Enjoy it, get a group of people together, go watch and enjoy the movie.
Yeah,
I think it's worth it.
Next week we have,
I believe it's Inside Out.
Inside Out, yes.
If we're wrong, then we'll pop up here.
Yeah.
But I'm almost confident it's Inside Out.
Yeah.
And we will be reviewing that one. I know you're not a big kids movie fan.
Yeah, I'm not a big anime.
I'm a big anime fan, so this is going to be interesting how this gets scored with him not being a big fan, me being an anime fan.
I can almost tell you how it's going to be scored, but I've been Joe.
I'm Jeremy.
And this is Boys of Summer number 7.
Thank you for watching. Have a great week.